Hi everyone, it's Valentine from Eden West here at home. I'm doing this quick video because first of all I wanted to try and see how it looks like, but also because I've been distributing my starter to a bunch of you lately. Of course, a lot of people are interested to make sourdough all of a sudden because you happen to have all of this time at home, so it's actually a great project to take on because you need the time. I did get a few messages about how to take care of it and of course how to make sourdough. So I'm going to start with the tutorial of how to take care of your starter, see how that goes, and then if you like it, then maybe we can look at making a tutorial or maybe like a live meeting with a bunch of you who are interested to know how to make the sourdough. But first today, how to take care of it, because that's important. Now you have it, I give it to you, how to take care of it. Okay, so here is my starter. So I'm gonna try to show you as best as I can. It's nice and bubbly. You can see it's stringy. There's a lot of bubbles of hair in there. So that's indication of a nice, healthy starter. So I fed it yesterday, so that's feeding time for it now. Or his name is Blob, by the way, because when you have a starter, you're supposed to give it a name. So mine is Blob. So you can name yours however you want. So what I like to do is I use a scale to do everything regarding sourdough. I find it just much more precise and efficient. But I understand you might not have a scale at home, and obviously you don't want to go out to go buy one. You might be able to order one on Amazon or something, but let's do it without a scale for today. I'm going to use the scale here, but I'm going to also show you how to use measuring spoon and cups so that you can understand how to do both. So I take a little clean bowl to do my mix, and I'm going to take about 15 to 20 grams out of that starter that needs to be fed. So that's roughly about 1 tablespoon like this. So if you have 1 tablespoon, you can take a tablespoon of your starter there. So if I take a little bit here, that's about 1 tablespoon. See, it shows 17 grams. So that's good. So now you know that the leftover here, you don't need to keep that. That's what we call the sourdough discard, because we don't need to keep it. So you can discard it. I know that you might feel a little bit bad about throwing it away, and I understand. And there is actually a lot of recipes you can do with sourdough discard. So you can Google sourdough discard recipe. There's tons of recipes out there, and I will distribute some as well. If you keep following me, keep your eyes peeled for that. I'm sure I can share some pretty soon. So, but for the time being, let's put that away. This is sourdough discard. We're just keeping 1 tablespoon. So the ratio of feeding is 1 to 2. So that means for 1 ratio of starter, you add 2 ratio of water and 2 ratio of flour. So that means if you have, let's say, 20 grams of starter, you're gonna add 40 grams of water. So that's about 3 tablespoons. And there you go. So it should be about warmish type of water. So about 3 tablespoons. That. So see, 3 tablespoons is about 35 grams. So that's pretty perfect. And then you add about 1/3 of a cup of flour. Okay. So 1/3 of a cup of flour. If I put it back to 0, add that into there. So 1/3 cup of flour is about 45 grams. So that's a bit more, but that's okay. Let's see what happens when you mix it. And then we'll see if the consistency is right or not. Like I say, I always use a scale. So for me to find an equivalent with cups and tablespoon, I didn't have to think of it actually. So let's see what happens. So that's 3 tablespoons of water and 1/3 cup of flour. And then when you mix it, it looks actually a bit dry. So if it looks dry like this, then just add more water because that's too dry. It should look like a a pancake batter a little bit. So let's add 1 more tablespoon. And I mix that. Now it looks more like it. Okay. Okay, so now it looks more like it. So it looks like a thick kind of pancake batter, like that. Okay, so that's how it should look like. A bit more wet will be fine, but not thicker. So if it's too thick, if it's thicker than that, then just add a bit more water. Okay, so that's it. You mix that, and then you can move that to a container like a mason jar. That's usually what I use to keep my starter, but you want to make sure to have enough room for it to grow, because your starter is going to double or triple in volume within the next 12 hours or so. So put it in a jar and close the lid, and this is it. This is your fresh starter. So that's good until tomorrow. You do the same thing every day, so every 24 hours roughly. So you can do that every morning or every night. And if you don't want to bother with doing it every day, or you just don't know when you're going to bake next, so you just want to take a break from it, you just put your newly fed starter in the fridge, and you feed it just like we did, but only once a week. That's it. That's all you need. So that gives you a break from having to feed it every day and then waste flour on discard every day. But that's what you should do every day for feeding. Watch for it growing. Make sure that it actually doubles or triples in size, at least double, because that's an indication that it's healthy. If it doesn't do that, then don't go ahead and start a recipe with it, because most likely your starter is not in great shape and it's not going to give you a good bread. So make sure your starter is healthy before you start the recipe. Now, when you want to start a recipe, the recipe usually tells you to prepare a leaven. So depending on your recipe, my recipe called for 100 grams of leaven. So to prepare 100 grams of leaven, it's exactly the same thing as what we did, except I'm going to do my mix directly into the bowl where I'm going to do my sourdough dough, because might as well, you know, it's going to be in there, so might as well get started in the same bowl. So to make 100 grams of leaven, you can do more or less if you want, but let's say you want to make 100 grams of leaven. You start with 40 grams of your starter. Remember that's the bubbly starter, the one that's nice and healthy. Don't use the one you just fed, because it just got fed, so you can't use that. Just use the one that was fed like maybe 12 hours ago. You take 20 grams of that, and you do the same thing. You feed it a ratio of 1:2. So for 20 grams of starter, you're gonna add 40 grams of water, and the water should be just slightly warm. That means when you put your finger in it, it shouldn't feel cold, it shouldn't feel hot. That's the perfect temperature. So 40 grams of water and 40 grams of flour. Right now I use just a white flour. Oh, sorry, it's a bit too much. But you can use a mix of different flour though. And again, you're gonna mix that. Until it's all blended. I like to use this bowl because it's plastic and it has a cover, so instead of using a plastic wrap to cover it, then I can use the lid. You don't want to use a metal stainless steel bowl to do your mix. It slows down the activation of the yeast. So see, when I measure my ingredient, it always comes out right. So I really encourage you to use a scale. See, so that's how it looks like. Thick looking, kind of a pancake batter look. Okay, so you have 20 grams of starter, 40 grams of water, 40 grams of flour. So altogether that makes 100 grams. So this is how you prepare for your recipe. So you prepare 100 grams of leaven, and then you're gonna put a cover on top. So if you have a lid, you put it on, or otherwise a plastic wrap. And then you wait about 12 hours, and then you can go on with your recipe. So that's how you take care of your starter, and that's how you start a leaven. So that should help you getting started in the meantime, at least keeping it healthy. And I will definitely let you know when I have the video or the live event for us to bake sourdough together if you're interested. If you have any question, please send them on the Eden West Gourmet page by private message, and I will be happy to help you more. And I look forward to see you again in videos like this. Thank you so much, guys, and enjoy baking sourdough.